Mike Rosenhaus here with David Kinchen, Energy Ogre's Chief Operating Officer. David, there's an Arctic blast headed our way to Texas. A lot of people want to know, is the power going to stay on?
So right now we're watching it very closely, and it's looking like it'll look like the storm kind of that hit earlier this year in February. It'll be very cold. You'll need to take all the proper precautions, but it'll be dry, and it shouldn't look like the year before in February with Uri, but it is something we need to keep an eye on. But right now everything's looking manageable.
So the big difference there is that there's not as much precipitation. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, so when it's freezing and rainy, it starts to cause a lot of problems down here. So for example, when Uri rolled in February of 21, it starts to ice over equipment, it starts to ice over wind generation. It means the trucks can't move around on the roads. So what happened is if you can't move around and you can't fix things, it starts to really cause a problem. If it's very, very cold, it can get as cold as it wants on the roads, but if it's not icy, they can still safely kind of move around.
If we do have outages, is that mostly because of wind and probably wouldn't last as long, you think? Do you think we would have prolonged outages like we had in 21?
So in 21 with Uri, you had two kinds of outages. One, we didn't have enough electricity, so there were curtailments. They were rotating that around. Then you had other things like down power lines or down trees or equipment that couldn't be reached, and that's where the frozen ice and snow started to cause a huge problem, because if you can't get out there and fix it, or if it's a down power line, they can't get to it quickly. So last year, or rather this year in February, if the trees don't fall and the power lines don't go down, it's more of an issue of adequate power. So it'll be warmer during the day. Yes, it'll get cold at night, but as we stay in that cycle, as long as the equipment and when you have power lines up and running, it makes it much quicker to get you electricity again.
Okay, is there anything you think people need to know that we haven't talked about yet about this upcoming weather event?
Sure. So it's the normal things when winter hits. Some years it doesn't get below freezing and we kind of forget about these things, but you'll need to make sure that you insulate all your outdoor pipes. You make sure that you're dripping your faucets at night. You might want to open up your cabinets. It's going to be very, very cold on your exterior walls. If you open up the cabinets under the sink, it lets some kind of warmer air in there. If you have a pool, obviously you're going to need that running. Like, your pool automatically protects itself, but if you have a prolonged power outage, you might need to drain your pump so that it's not freezing over. Normal things like keep your doors closed. If you want to tuck the carpet up against the door to kind of help that draft out a little bit. There's a lot of little things you can do, but for the most part, it'll be kind of business as usual. I'm sure a lot of people with the holidays will be staying inside, trying to stay warm, but it should be something that people can kind of just do the normal precautions and be good.
Okay, stay safe, everyone. Thank you, David.
Yes, sir.